Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Coaster News. And as always, we've got some amazing news from different theme parks, rides, attractions and events all over the world. So let's just get straight into the news today. Our top story for tonight, Thorpe Park Fright Nights has officially started for this year. And obviously, this is one of the best times of the year for theme parks and the amusement park industry. Because obviously, especially for Thorpe Park, because they normally go all out with their Halloween event, Fright Nights, and this year is no exception. This is one of the biggest Fright Nights events they've ever had, and it is absolutely insane. The lineup this year they've got is absolutely remarkable and incredible. They've got 3 scare mazes, a brand new scare experience, 3 scare zones, and 2 shows. So that's obviously quite a big lineup altogether. Obviously, the returning attractions this year are trailers, which obviously was introduced last year, the Crows of Morecambe Meadow, but it's been slightly extended. They've actually reused the old Soar Live queue line to add to Morecambe Meadow, which is really interesting. As well as that, Amity High versus Lycanthrope is returning, but it's been renamed to Graduation Sucks, so this could be the final year of that scare maze, scare zone, who knows. Also, we've got Creek Freak Unchained returning this year, but they are roaming the park this year, which is absolutely mad to think. And Creek Freak Massacre is returning for its final season ever. They've labelled it as Creek Freak Massacre, the final cut, because obviously in that area where Creek Freak Massacre is, they want to build Project Exodus. And assuming plans for Project Exodus get approved, they've got to demolish that entire area to make room for this brand new record-breaking roller coaster, meaning that they've got to get rid of Creek Freak Massacre, which is very sad to hear, but it looks like it's going to go out with a bang this year, which is absolutely amazing. As well as that, Birthday Bash is returning, which is very unusual because this year isn't a birthday year, but obviously I think it's going back because a lot of people seem to enjoy it last year. And weirdly, Legacy is returning. Legacy, the fire and light display. And that's very unusual because Legacy was here last year. It was on Amity Beach. But obviously, we didn't think it'd be returning this year because obviously this year isn't an anniversary year for Fright Nights. But it was recently announced the day before the event started to be returning, and obviously it's got a different structure. The actual structure itself looks different this year, and it's in a different part of Amity Beach. So it's going to be very interesting to see. Obviously, as well as that, there's the new attractions for this year. Obviously, we've got Death's Doors, which is a brand new scare zone. Located in the Nemesis Inferno area. Honestly, it looks absolutely incredible. It's an interactive scare zone where you walk past 21 doors and you have to knock on them and scary actors come out and scare you. It looks brilliant. As well as that, I've got the brand new scare experience, the Terminal, which is an audio experience created by Darkfield. And obviously, Darkfield have created other different audio experiences throughout the country that have been travelling. Such as an experience where it simulates a flight crash and one that simulates performing a seance, and the reviews for those are absolutely incredible. So I'd imagine that the Terminal will be no exception in terms of the great lineup of Darkfield attractions. And last but not least, is the brand new scare maze for this year called Survival Games, which is a free-flow, multiple-route scare maze, which is made to be ultra intense. Is the biggest investment from Thorpe Park in Fright Nights history, and you actually get split up from your group throughout the attraction. And it's got multiple paths to take as well, so it's actually like a full-on maze. Not like a normal scare maze where it has like a set route. It is literally a maze. You can actually get lost in it, and the acting is ultra intense and insane. Scare actors, and it honestly looks incredible. And obviously, overall, the lineup for Fright Nights this year looks absolutely amazing. The only non-returning attractions are the Swarm Invasion, which was last year, and obviously Platform 15, because that's where Project Exodus is being built. Obviously, the lineup this year is stunning, and it's going to be known in history as one of the biggest Fright Nights events to ever have taken place, and it looks absolutely incredible. Obviously, things like the Terminal and Survival Games they've never done before, and I hope other Million theme parks add more innovative experiences to their Halloween events. In other news today, SeaWorld San Diego have revealed a new Intamin Family Launch Coaster called Arctic Rescue, which is opening next year. And obviously this attraction has been anticipated for quite some time, actually, because if you know what I'm talking about, I'm pretty sure Arctic Rescue is a Intamin Family Launch Coaster. It's actually similar to Wavebreaker at SeaWorld San Antonio. Obviously, because it's got a family Intamin launch LSM launch coaster with trains that look like jet skis, which is very interesting. And obviously, this attraction I'm pretty sure was planned way back in last year or 2020 even. Obviously, I'm pretty sure it was first reported around the same time that rides such as Pantheon, Iron Emperor, and things like that were first revealed. And this attraction, obviously, is going to be one of the longer Intamin Family Launch Coasters. I'm pretty sure it was supposed to open the year after Emperor did, but obviously COVID happened, all those attractions got delayed until this year, meaning the new Arctic Rescue roller coaster is going to open in 2023 at SeaWorld San Diego. And it looks to be a brilliant new family launch coaster. I'm pretty sure it's going to have like 3 launches, which is honestly insane on its own because that's quite a lot of launches for one roller coaster. And it's going to be a family layout, so it's not like the previous coasters where it's been in extreme rides like Electric Eel, which is in Premier Skyrocket 2, Tidal Twister, which I don't even know what that is. I think it's like a dynamic attractions single rail coaster, which is very bizarre, and Emperor, which is a B&M dive coaster. This is probably like one of their first family editions since probably Manta, which opened back in 2012. And that was a Mack, well, I believe it's a Mack launch coaster, Mack family launch coaster. This is their first family launch coaster in like 11 years. So obviously it's been a while since they built one of these sort of smaller family coasters. Obviously I've not followed every single roller coaster ever at SeaWorld San Diego. Obviously they've been adding a lot more roller coasters to the lineup in the past few years. It all started with Electric Eel, which opened back in 2018. And that was a premier ride Skyrocket 2, so it weren't really anything special. That was the start of the additions for each year. Obviously Tidal Twister opened the next year in 2019. That was built by Dynamic Attractions. I have no idea what kind of ride it is. It's very weird. It's like a single rail coaster that's also a powered coaster as well, but it has an inversion and airtime. It's like a really short roller coaster layout. That's a powered single rail coaster. It's very strange. And obviously Emperor was supposed to open in 2020, but obviously COVID delayed and shut down everything, meaning that Emperor didn't open until earlier this year. But it seems that they started back up this trend of building new roller coasters each year, because next year they're adding Arctic Rescue, which is a brand new Intamin launch coaster, and it looks brilliant. Obviously it's a family coaster, so it's not going to have like any inversions or anything, but it still looks like it's going to be a really fun ride. It's adding more variety to their lineup. Because I know a lot of other SeaWorld parks have like big, massive, intense roller coasters. Like SeaWorld San Antonio has Steel Eel, which is a, I believe it's a Morgan manufactured hyper coaster. SeaWorld Orlando, which is the main one, has Mako, Manta, Kraken, and the new B&M Surf coaster opening next year. And obviously SeaWorld San Diego has all the big massive attractions like the B&M Dive Coaster, Emperor, and Electric Eel. Obviously, so most of the SeaWorld parks have extreme rides. But so it's glad to see that SeaWorld San Diego is adding a bit more variety to the lineup with attractions of all ages, which is obviously brilliant. I believe the only other family coaster they had before, well, the only other ones they had was Manta and Journey to Atlantis, which is a I believe I could be wrong. I believe it's a Mack water coaster. Please feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. But it is some kind of water coaster. It's also kind of a dark ride as well. But that's mainly targeted at families as well. So like they had only like 2 other family coasters that I know of anyway. So obviously it's brilliant that adding more more age groups to their roller coaster lineup. I don't even know if that made any sense. But obviously I'm glad that they're thinking about people of all ages in terms of the thrill rides, their main flagship rides, roller coasters. And I cannot wait for this brand new Intamin launch coaster to open in 2023. Also in the news today, the first track sections for Big Bear Mountain have arrived at Dollywood. And obviously, this is brilliant news for the park. Because obviously, if you don't know what I'm talking about, Big Bear Mountain is a brand new Vekoma Family Launch Coaster. It's opening at Dollywood in 2023, and it's going to be an expansion to the Wildwood Grove area that opened in 2019, I think, or was it last year? I think it was 2019 that the new land opened. And obviously, this is going to be an expansion to that area. It's going to be the longest roller coaster at Dollywood. It's going to be over 5,000 feet long, I believe. And it is a family Vekoma launch coaster. So it's not going to be like any of the extreme lines like Lightning Rod or Wild Eagle or anything like that. But it's going to be a brilliant family coaster. It's being built by Vekoma, so you might think this is actually a booster bike coaster, but weirdly it isn't. It's got regular trains, but it's a launch coaster. I don't think Vekoma have really done any family launch coasters that have regular trains instead of motorbike trains. I could be wrong. I don't know of any other ones that they've built. Obviously, Vekoma have built a lot of roller coasters around the world, but the only family launch coasters that I know of that they've built are booster bike coasters. Like I said before, I could be very, very wrong. So if I am, please feel free to correct me in the comments below. But I'm pretty sure this is like probably the first major one that I know of. I feel like I've got it wrong. Please do correct me if I am wrong. I might actually research this later after I've finished filming this video. But obviously, it looks to be a brilliant new ride to the park's lineup. It's going to have 3 launches, much like Arctic Rescue. And it's going to be a long, sprawling layout. It's going to travel throughout the forest. And because Dollywood is pretty much built on the side of a hill or mountain, something like that, it's going to be almost like a terrain coaster, essentially. It's going to interact with the hillside, the trees, and everything like that. It looks to be a brilliant ride. Obviously, as you can tell by the name of the ride, it is themed to bears, which is a very unusual theme for a launch coaster, but it is what it is, and it looks like a brilliant ride. And obviously, the first track sections have arrived early this week, I believe. And this means that the ride's track is probably going to go vertical within the next few months, or weeks even. And obviously this is a great, huge milestone for this attraction, and I cannot wait for it to open in 2023. It's going to be a brilliant family launch coaster, because I'm pretty sure the only other launch coaster they had, that I know of anyway, I don't know every ride at Dollywood, is Lightning Rod, and that's an intense, extreme ride. So this will be a brilliant new launch coaster that's a step up between something like Dragonfly, which is a Vekoma suspended coaster, and Lightning Rod. And finally in the news today, the invitation at Alton Towers Scarefest, which is new for this year, it looks like it's going to be a audio scare experience created by Darkfield. And obviously this is actually very kind of sort of unexpected news actually. We all thought it was going to be a new scare maze. But no, it seems Alton Towers are expanding upon their lineup. Actually, it's not like you still have to pay for tickets, but it is still interesting to see that they're adding something other than scare mazes this year. Obviously, we all thought that the invitation was going to be a brand new scare maze for this year, but since Freak Show Toxic Junkyard was revealed to not be returning this year, we all thought, is this going to be built where that is? Because also, obviously, on the logo for the attraction, it says Lakeside Cemetery. And the only other lake that I know of, or the only major lake in the park, is the one at the front of the towers, which is where Toxic Junkyard was last year. So we all thought, could this be where the invitation's going to be built? And it was pretty much confirmed. However, when major construction started on the attraction, all that was there, apart from a bit of graveyard theming, was shipping containers. And what other attractions are built in shipping containers? Darkfield audio experiences. If you don't know who Darkfield are, basically, they are a company that specialises in creating immersive audio experiences based within shipping containers. What that basically means is you put headphones on and it has 360 degrees binaural audio, meaning you can hear sound from all angles, and it's all really immersive sound technology. And they've done multiple other experiences before. I mentioned Darkfield earlier at the start of this video. They've done a flight crash experience, a seance experience, one that you simulate being in a coma. And obviously this year they've done the terminal at Thorpe Park Fright Nights. So it seems, obviously because Mellon are actually working with Darkfield for Thorpe Park, it looks as though that the invitation at Alton Towers Scarefest could also be a Darkfield attraction. If it is, it looks as if the invitation is going to be, you get in a coffin, you sit in a coffin and they close it so you're in pitch black with headphones on with 360-degree binaural audio. That is honestly sounds terrifying. I cannot wait for it. Honestly, it sounds like it's going to be a brilliant attraction. I really cannot wait to go to Scarefest now to experience a new audio experience at Alton Towers Scarefest. Hopefully this could be the start of Alton Towers adding more varied attractions for Scarefest. Fingers crossed, maybe could it even add scare zones in the near future. I mean, obviously, the invitation is still an upcharge attraction like the scare mazes. So maybe not necessarily free attractions, but maybe other forms of attractions at Scarefest in the near future, because most of the stuff they've done before are scare mazes, but now that seems to be changing for the better. So yeah, that is it for this week's episode of Coaster News. I hope you've enjoyed it, and if you did, then please make sure to like, subscribe, and comment with likes in the next video. Bye!